For those of you that are joining, my name is Dennis Franks. I'm a longtime UnFranchise owner. I'm also the Executive Vice President. I specialize in sales in our Market America University, but I'm most proud of my unfranchised business. Over the years, my wife Nancy and I have been successful in building to a field vice president level, and it's been a great experience for us. And very rarely does an individual get to work both with the field as well as with the company, and it's been my pleasure to do that. And tonight I have my partner here, Jim Winkler. Jim, welcome. It's good to have you.
Great to be here. I'm Jim Winkler. I'm Vice President of Sales for the company, and I would mirror most of what Dennis said right there. I've been an unfranchised owner for 24 years and a member of the corporate team for the last 10. And it's special that we get to do both and bring the field experience to the corporate team and the corporate team to the field. And I love what we do with this, and I love this app we're about to talk to. And JJ, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself as well? JJ, you are muted, buddy.
There we go. I'm off mute there. So it's good to be here. I've worked within the industry for now over 15 years. This has been a family business, and it's been something that we've thoroughly enjoyed. We're excited tonight to be able to show you what we've all been working on here. I've really enjoyed getting to know Dennis and Jim and Mark and the rest of the corporate team. And really excited to be able to teach and train on this most important tool that will help you in sharing the Market America story and products with others.
Well, JJ, it's a pleasure. I'm feeling like you're one of the team now. We've just started working together in the last few months, but it's been great to have someone with so many years experience. And by the way, I am telling you that we'll have closed captioning on the replay. This is recorded and will come up and be available for you. We do not have tonight real-time closed captioning, so you'll have to wait for the recording that will be out sometime tomorrow. But what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get this brought up because we have so much to offer tonight for you. And it's exciting to know that so much work has been put into this. And I'm going to turn it over to my partner here who's going to start it off.
Yeah, we're going to talk tonight about this marketing app and sample program and what it can really do for our businesses. And I think Dennis and JJ, one of the things that would be great maybe as we go through this, if we get to the end, we may be able to allow some people to pop some questions into the chat. We probably won't be able to answer them all while we're moving along and doing everything, but we're going to cover as much as we can. I know Dennis and I have really dug into this with JJ because of where we feel this can take us. Each individual unfranchised owner increasing their own sales, and you know how important we always talk about base 10 is 7 strong. So that's where we're going to go. Dennis, if you can move it forward one. And with this app, you have the ability, obviously, to share samples, to share digital content and videos, PDFs, social media images, and more. And if you haven't been on the app in the last 2 days, you need to be back on. In fact, if you weren't on it Friday, you need to be on today because since then we've been updating many things as we've been going along. And you're going to receive notification when potential customers receive samples. I just got a notification when one of the people I had sent a sample to viewed the video when I sent the text, which I thought was great. And I got another notification when they viewed the site that we had sent them through the text. So you're in for a lot of fun. And when you really learn how to use this, you're going to really enjoy it. And don't be scared of it because it's a much easier than it appears. And we're going to make it easy for you.
Absolutely, Jim. And the one thing that I want you to know, since you said that we just updated some videos here in the last couple of days, remember every time you use this app, be sure to refresh it. All right. And the one thing that I will have JJ share with you when he gets the app out and we talk through it is exactly how to do that. And, it's funny. The refreshing is basically putting your finger on the screen and bringing it down until you release it after you see the refresh. and it refreshes automatically. But this is something that you have to remember to get all the most recent data that comes up in there. The fun thing also, Jim and I had the pleasure of having a conversation last week, and we decided that we were going to have, similar to a workshop for something for the corporation, we had a workshop in getting better at using this UnFranchise Marketing App. We knew how to use it, just enough to be dangerous, so it was pretty crazy. But I do want to tell you that all of this is based on real science, research that has been done, and in a specific case study that I want to refer to, a Costco case study. If you've ever been there, you know they do a great deal of sampling, and they have identified and tracked this to where sales increased ranging from 70 to 2,000%, and basically averaging over 400% in increase of items that they sampled with. And this was across the board. And it was amazing because it was a proven strategy that worked over and over again in every category. And you know, the psychology of this, and it's been studied, we're sort of partial to North Carolina, Duke University. They did a study basically that it was referred to as reciprocity, where if someone does something for you, you really feel a rather surprisingly strong obligation to do something back for them. And it's so true. If you've gone to any home party, if you've gone anywhere, even when somebody comes to the door and gives you some kind of information, you tend to want to support that individual. So it was really special in understanding that. And so if you understand the psychology of sampling, you know that if you try something as simple as a piece of chocolate, all of a sudden you have memory of that, or you have this hankering, we would say in North Carolina, that you'd want a taste of it again, and it would increase the craving that you would have. Likewise, we find that utilizing these types of psychology when it comes to sampling has been a home run. So we want to get people to try what we offer.
You know, and as we introduce this sampling system, a couple things to make sure everyone's aware of. We can do this in many ways. We can send samples directly from the app and send that out. We can use social media tools to promote those free samples. And we can track the interactions with follow-up drips and much more. And there's things, you know, I think one of the things Dennis and I really wanted to get across, and JJ will be covering it as we go through, but we want to make sure, don't expect the system to do everything. It's going to do a lot for you. In fact, Dennis, have you been getting those emails reminding us to text our customers?
Absolutely. It's been working like perfectly. And you know what? We specifically went in all three of the different offerings that we have. Plus, when you actually send an order in and add a sampling as it goes out to one of your existing customers that may not have tried our daily essentials. So it's been a really great experience for us.
Yeah, it has, and just getting better. So here's ways we can share it. You can send it from the app. A customer can purchase a sample from your sample website. And JJ may go into that, or Dennis and I will talk about it afterwards, because Dennis and I had a great idea. We thought we'd put our own little thing together and put it out on social media. And then we're talking to JJ, and he said, well, you could have just clicked this button and done this, and this one works the right way. And we said, okay, well, that's how you live and learn. You can hand deliver them. And Dennis just said it. You can, you know, if you have a customer who orders, you can add that sample right onto your order. And if you're iTransact, same thing. When you're fulfilling an order, you can add that on now. That's very important to understand. So there's multiple ways to get these to the customer.
Absolutely. And just to add here, and I think it's so important, based on just being able to save the time. People don't equate cost to time, but even as an entrepreneur, we have limited time. So we want to get the maximum information out as fast as we can. And it's so important when you're working with millennials and Gen Zs, but there's no excuses for our Gen Xers, our baby boomers and traditionalists, and we get there.
That's right. And, you know, what does the prospect receive? And I think this is real important to understand. You get the all-in-one sample mailer. I've got mine, right in front of me right here. So the customer's gonna receive this. It's gonna have the samples in there. It's beautifully written. It's got all the information that it needs. It's gonna have a customized letter signed with your name and website. It's gonna show the return address. That's when the automated follow-up emails will start as well. And you'll get these letting you know to text and send that out. So the customer's experiencing that follow-up. And then it's a fast professional delivery to your prospects. So, it's not like in the old days, Dennis, remember when we'd want to sample out thermochrome, we'd count out some pills, put them in a bag, and that was how we did a sample. Not the most professional or best way to do it. This is gorgeous. It's a great way to do it. And it also puts everything we need together for that customer.
Jim, I'm glad you brought all of this up. And, while we're telling you how great this is, the expectations, let me be very clear. It is super professional, but we still do depend upon a few things that we have no control over, such as our postal services and our delivery services. So the fast delivery will be a little bit, different. And I'll give you a great example. I sent samplings to the state of Michigan and also here to North Carolina, also to Pennsylvania. And it's very funny that my Michigan and Pennsylvania got there 2 days sooner than the North Carolina samplings got there. But I will say this, and I'm going to say this straight up, you're able to track it. And for those of you that live in Pennsylvania, the hangup was in central Pennsylvania and the U.S. Parcel Service that for some reason didn't get it out very fast. So, sometimes you're going to have those kind of slow ups, but it's really not the fault of our suppliers that we use and the systems that we have in place. But let me bring up JJ. Take us into this and let's tear it apart and let's put it back together and really show these folks how to feel good about to use this.
Awesome. Well, if you'll let me share my screen, Dennis, if you don't mind, let's jump into the app like Dennis mentioned, and let's actually take a quick tour, and we're going to actually get down into the details tonight. And we're going to take it nice and slow and make sure that you guys are able to see and understand exactly how to leverage the amazing resources and tools that are in here. Dennis referenced that pull to refresh feature to be able to make sure that you get the most updated content. And all you do in the app is just simply pull down on the screen. And do you see how it prompts that pull to refresh right there? And then let go and just pull down and let go. And then what that does is it refreshes the app to ensure that you have the most updated content within the app. And I would be doing that daily. When I come into the app, pull to refresh, just make sure you got the updated content. The marketing department at Market America is constantly making updates and additions and improvements. You'll even notice, I'll quickly call them out down here and we'll maybe touch on this in just a minute. There's a variety of new videos in the business building category down here that you'll notice that are newly updated and added. And when you pull to refresh, you're going to be able to access those. While I'm on the topic of pull to refresh, that feature also works inside of your contacts. So when I select my contacts, again, after I've synced my contacts for the very first time, in order to make sure that my list of contacts is updated, meaning if I've added new contacts to my phone, in order for those new people to show up here, I also need to pull down on the screen and refresh it. And that's going to bring in and make sure I have the latest contacts within my phone. And so that's the pull to refresh feature. A couple of other things that I want to touch on before we get started into how to share, how to send a sample and those things. We're going to jump up here to the very top left corner, and this is where your profile exists. We want to make sure that you guys are set up, that you're in a position to win. You have all the settings properly set up in your phone. A couple of tips that I want to share with you tonight is I want to make sure that you go into My Info. When you select My Info, you want to make sure that you have, once you're in here, tap on this screen right here and make sure you've uploaded a photo. You can either, take a photo or choose a photo from your library on your phone and make sure that photo is there, because anytime you send an email, anytime you share a video with somebody, that image is going to be on display along with your contact information. So just make sure that that's accurate and that you've got all your information in there like you want it. Additionally, inside of the settings area of the app, there is a couple of things I want to point out here. First of all, it's really important right here under notifications, right down in the middle of that settings area, notifications, make sure that this button is turned on. This is really important. What this does is it allows you to receive important alerts when you're using the app. There's a push notification that will come to you letting you know when you have a contact click on a link, when they click on a video, when they click on a sample website, when they click on a PDF or a catalog or flyer that you share through email or text message, those alerts will come through. Additionally, there's important announcements that are made through the app from corporate from time to time. Hey, there's new content. Hey, there's an important call, whatever it might be. So make sure you do that. Inside of notifications, in addition to the push, you can also receive an email or a text message notification if you want to receive those additional alerts in these methods. Okay. So now that we've done that, I also want to just quickly highlight. There's a little support button inside of settings. If you tap support, this is a place that you can report a problem or request a feature. And what that does is that goes to our tech support team where we can better serve you. We'd love to hear from you if you got some feedback, if you're wishing there was a certain type of content in there, or if you're having a problem, we are there to be able to help you with that. So with that said, those are some of the basic things I wanted to cover when it comes to settings. We want to now jump into the process of actually going through and sharing content. And one of the things that I want to just share with you as it relates to a principle when sharing content is you've got to remember that this is a business where you need to remember that the more high touch you are in developing a relationship and connecting with that individual, you've got to remember what I call a high tech, high touch approach. What that means is it's totally fine to leverage technology. In fact, the companies that we're working with that are leveraging technology, they're really adopting it. They're seeing tremendous growth and success right now. But the companies that are really growing are the companies that combine both a high tech and a high touch approach to building the business and sharing information with other people. And what I mean by a high touch approach is when I send a video to a contact, I'm going to likely have a conversation with them on the phone, checking in with that person, making a connection, inviting them. Hey, if I send you a video, will you take a look? And then I send the video through the app. That is a high tech and a high touch approach. When they click on the link to view it, the app's going to alert me, letting me know my contact clicked on that link. A high touch approach is I'm going to follow up with that person over the phone. So even during the sample process, Jim just described, when I send a sample, I'm going to be alerted, hey, this person received the sample today. You need to follow up with that person. The more you're in touch with that high touch side of sharing, the more success, the more conversions you're going to have in using the technology. So just remember that high tech.
Let me bring that back a little bit too, because we're alerted when it's ordered, and we're alerted when it's shipped from Market America if you're sending it through Market America on an order. So one of the things, like you were saying, that high touch, I had one of my customers and I sent them a text. I said, hey, I want to make sure you're aware that I'm sending you a sample of one of our best products, and I'll be sending you a few texts so you can keep up to date and I can give you more information on it. Because if all of a sudden I just start slamming them with texts, it's going to be like, whoa, what is going on here? So JJ's very right on the fact that we have to warm them up to what's coming to help them out with that, not just send it over. Exactly.
So when it comes to actually sharing content, I'm going to go through the process now of, before we dive into actually sending a sample, I want to teach you some of the basic principles when it comes to one-to-one sharing. So I have the intent of being able to share a video with one person. I'm going to do it through a text message. I'm going to teach you the best practices of doing that today. And then we're going to go through and talk about the important process of following up and how the app is going to help support you with that most important step. We've all heard the phrase, if you've been in the industry and you talk to the top income earners, the fortunes in the follow-up is a phrase you'll hear from every top income earner. And if you're really good at that step of following up and that high touch approach, the more effective you're going to be in building your team. So one of the things I'm going to point out inside of the app, you'll notice that there's an entire library of content. Each of these are separated into the different lines of products or verticals or brands that you guys have available to you. One of the things that I wanted to point out down here at the bottom are these new business building resources and videos that are now part of this category. You'll notice that within each category, I can swipe over to view that content. And if there's more than 10 assets, there'll be a view all button that I can click on. and actually see them. You'll also see that there's a search button up here. That search button allows me to go in, and if I'm looking for something specifically, I can type in the word, isotonics, and it's going to pull up all of the assets that I have available to me with that keyword. Okay, so you might, if you're looking for content, you could do that. Additionally, one other quick tip that I want to share with you. One of the reasons you want to be using this app on a daily basis is to make you more effective and efficient with your time. I know that there's a lot of you that are listening in tonight that are building the business in carving out a few hours a day to build your business, and you'll likely have lots of team members that will be doing that. And so this app is meant to help you be effective and very efficient with your time. So one tip that I want to share with you is there's this tip of, if I come in here to share this video, there's this little favorite button that's on this screen. You should be using that favorite feature to be able to favorite the items that you use the most. I just favorited that item. And if I scroll back up here to the very top of my app, I now have available to me my favorites, my list of favorites. So these are the ones that I personally use the most because I'm going to favorite them. And now I don't have to go in searching for them because I've got my list of favorites right here. So make sure you're spending the time to favorite the assets that you use every day. And that way you can quickly find them. Now, additionally, I have the intent of sharing this, this video. This will provide a really good Market America shop.com overview when I share it. And I'm going to go through and I can, if I'm new and I want to play the video, I can just tap right up here and play the video and watch it inside of the app. Now, if I want to share it, I'm going to go through the process of sharing it. I'm going to go through the process now. You'll notice down here, we have all these share methods: email, text. I can share it on social media, and I can copy the link. Now, we've talked over and over tonight about how one of the main features that you will love about this app is that you're going to get notified when somebody clicks on the link, and you're going to be notified what amount of the video they watch. So we're going to go through the process and show you how to do that. In order to do that, you have to share through an email or text message. If I use this copy link feature, it will not provide me a tracking link. It is effective, it's quick and easy, but if I copy the link and I share it through a text message, I will not know if they click the link and what amount of video they watch. I'm going to show you how, after I share this through a text message, I'm going to show you how to share through Facebook Messenger, through WhatsApp. I know a lot of you use direct messages, and I'm going to show you how to create a trackable link in that environment as well. So we're going to start with text message. 70% of the time that an asset is shared through this app, it's in the US, that is, it's done through a text. So that's the majority of what you guys will be using this for, is a text message. And I love the ability for me to be able to share a video one-to-one with somebody. So I'm going to select text message. What this will do is this will pull up the contacts that are on my phone after I've synced them into the app. I'm going to now select the person I'm going to send it to. And now I'm just going to select myself. What that's going to do is it's going to generate a text message for me. So that will now generate the text, and it will now provide a unique trackable link when I did that. This link is unique to this person that you're sending it to. It will also have with it a suggested script that you can use. Now, keep in mind, I can delete or modify or personalize this. If I was sending this to Dennis, I'd say, hey, Dennis, this is the video I told you about. Take a look. I'll call you after. I'm now personalizing it, and I'm going to send it. So now watch what happens. I click send. The app tells me that it was successfully shared to that contact. So now let's go through and let's look at what that experience is like once he received that text message. So you can see, here's the text message and there's the link to view it. So watch what happens. I'm going to now play that, and you'll see that immediate notification that just came through. I just got alerted that that contact that I just shared that video with just clicked on that link. And in addition to this important alert, it's going to say, hey, this contact is now viewing this video. Okay. So that's an important detail that you want to know. In addition to knowing that, when they actually click play, it'll actually report back to you, hey, this person watched 85% of the video, or this person watched 100% of the video. Do you know how valuable that information is? Do you know how much more prepared you are to have a discussion with that person? Knowing they clicked the link and knowing what amount of the video they watched, you know that they're ready. Dennis, do you have a quick comment on that?
Yes, a couple things that just came through. Number one, there seems to be a challenge for some of the people watching that they're saying it's too long of a link. That's a little weird to me, because if you just click on it, it goes. I don't know what other answer there is for the technology for that.
And sometimes it actually will generate a shortened link, and it'll actually create a little image. And so part of that is dictated. I'm using an iPhone. and it's on the iOS system. And so the actual software on the phone will dictate how it will generate. And sometimes you'll notice it'll show up in the form of a little thumbnail image that they can click on. And so just remember that that's kind of how that works. A couple of other things I want to point out here.
Can I ask a question on that, Jay?
Yes,
J2? We're going to be interrupting you all
That's okay.
night.
This is a working
interactive. So you said we can see how much they watched. You know,
Yep.
so if they watched 20% or 30%, where do we see that at?
Let's go there next.
Oh.
A couple of things that I want to just point out on this page that are important.
Okay.
This is a unique link. Remember how I shared in the settings to make sure you've got a photo in your profile? Every time you share, your photo is going to be visible there, and that putting that connection with you and a personal touch is important. That high-tech, high-touch approach. Make sure your photo's there. Additionally, in this case, I'm sharing this video, and in this case, there's a call to action down here where it says partner with Market America. What that's doing is that is a unique link that's specific to me. And so when if that person were to go and click on that link and eventually join, become an unfranchised owner, business owner, or if they were to purchase product as a customer, I'm going to get credit for that person because I shared the video through the app. I didn't go to some random link on YouTube or something like that. That's one of the benefits of using this, is it's going to provide a trackable link taking them back to unfranchise.com to place an order. Now, if I was to share an isotonics video or one of your beauty brands, it's actually going to take them to the customer website. This actually is going to take them to the customer page to purchase the product from that specific website. So you can feel confident in knowing when I'm sharing assets from the app, it's going to know, it's going to respect me, that I'm the unfranchised owner that sent it, and it's going to direct them to actually a clean path to entry to actually place an order. So let's go back into the app and let's talk about the all-important steps of following up. And this is the most important and sometimes most underutilized parts of the app. And you should be using this daily. You should be living in here daily. It's right here called the feed. So this is the feed, and this is somewhere you should be going every single day to keep a pulse on what's happening inside of the platform of when you're sharing information. So you can see down here, I'm going to scroll down. You can see there's an entire history of my sharing activity. I can say, I shared with Amy this PDF, the Isotonics Daily Essentials. That's actually a sample I sent to her. And I just got a notification letting me know that item was shipped to her, okay? As I move up, I shared the digital education and credibility presentation video with Jake. I can see that he clicked on the link, and look up here. This right there tells me he watched 100% of the video, okay? Moving back up, I can also see that he clicked on the join button. Look at all those amazing insights. I know he clicked the link. I know what amount of the video he watched, and I can see he clicked the join button. So all that information is super valuable when I follow up with Jake. I'm more in the know of what that experience was like for him. Same thing up here. I can see I shared this PDF with Amy. I can see she clicked the link, and she, in this case, clicked the order button. So this is valuable information. A couple of other things I want to point out. If I swipe over on my phone from right to left, I can actually see the date and time that activity occurred, okay? Additionally, if I want to flag, we have a really cool reminder feature on this section of the app. If I want to swipe over on the contact name and flag Jake as a reminder, and I also need to follow up with Amy. I see that she engaged in my content that I shared with her. I'm going to swipe over and flag a reminder. That little circle generated a reminder. You see up here, I have an actions folder that we're in right now and a reminders folder. If I click on reminders, these are going to show me the people I need to follow up with. After I follow up with Jake, I'm going to swipe over, I'm going to flag him as done, and he's going to fly off the screen. So that's a kind of a faster way. I just swiped on him, and he's now going to fly off the screen. So now we're using the app to effectively access my content, share it with somebody, and then track when and if they clicked on the link, and then keep me up to speed on who I need to follow up with. A couple of other things I want to point out.
Coach, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Jim.
Coach, can I set that reminder? Does it just go to the next day or that day? Can I set it out 2 days? How does it work?
Good question. So right up here under the reminders, when I swipe so if I need to follow up with Jake and I need to follow up with Amy, I've got those reminders that are there. And then when I click on the reminders, they're just going to live in here until I tell them to go away. So that's kind of keeping me up to speed on who I need to follow up with. After I connect with Amy, I know, she's going to fly off the screen. You also have this little alarm clock in the top right corner. If I want to set myself a reminder to do something, I can add a custom reminder. Hey,
Oh, nice.
I know I need to connect with Jim. He's probably going to receive his sample on Friday, or I'm going to add a reminder. Now the app's going to notify me to follow up with you on that time. So
JJ, real quick in the process here, can I send a video? Let's just say I met someone, I have to be really engaged in the TLS program, and I'm introducing somebody to the 30-day Jumpstart Kit. And so I'll send them the video. When I send them the video, will I have the same type of recognition that they opened it up and watched, 100% of the video?
absolutely, all the videos that are in here, the
Okay.
entire library video, that's how that works.
Right. It doesn't go into the whole email text and all that. That's the sampling. Let's not confuse that. The other thing I wanted to ask is some of our listeners are asking that you slow down just a little bit. You're speaking like a New Yorker. No offense to the New Yorkers out there, but we do have time. I want everybody to be able to clearly understand what you're saying. Okay.
So that's great. And one thing I'll maybe point out is down here in the app, there's a section called app training videos that I generated. And they're little short 4-minute segments that you can actually go in and replay on each of those topics, like the texting, overview I just provided. You could go right in here and watch that. And so all of those are there. So if I'm going kind of fast, I'll make sure to slow down and make sure you all can digest this information and understand it.
Right. And I also want to say, when he just pointed that out, where these actual training videos are, a lot of times you're not scrolling far enough down to find things. I find this even on our UFMS, you guys don't know what's below the line. If you just scroll down a little bit, you'll see a lot of information. So, take your time and really just spend some time on this, because once you learn it, it's going to be phenomenal for you.
Yeah, and that process I just showed you of sharing that business building video, all of these videos that are available to you, all of the product videos that are there for you. This should be, if I was to describe a day in the life of an unfranchised owner, that process that I just showed you of texting a video to a contact is something you should be doing daily. This is something you should be doing every single day. And there's another principle. I talked about high tech, high touch. Write this one down too. This is one that I call 2 a day, 10 in play. 2 a day, 10 in play. And this is a principle based upon activity. Activity equals income in this business. The more active you are and consistent you are in sharing with new people, the more likely you're going to find growth and in your business. And so the 2 a day represents 2 new contacts or 2 shares from the app every day. And the 10 represent, I'm going to share with, I should be at any given time, if I look in here, have up to 10 people that I'm actively sharing with, and I have on my list of people I'm interacting with. So 2 a day, 10 in play. And if you hold yourself to that principle for a 90-day period, it will transform your business, and you will lead by example. And if I'm mentoring somebody, I'm coaching somebody, in the business, I would be reviewing their feed with them every time I meet with them. Hey, let's look at your feed. How are you doing? Who do we need to follow up with? How active have you been? So this, guys, live in the feed. This is gamifying the experience of when I'm sharing information, and this is going to help you with that most important step of following up. So we talked about sharing a video through a text message and how that works. That will work with a PDF. That will work with a video. That will work with any link that you're sharing here. That same experience I showed you is going to work. Now, let's now talk about
I've got to bring up one more thing, Coach. We're sending these out, and we've talked about the notifications to, send out the next text or email. It came up with the confusion, and I want to just get this nipping it in the butt, seeing the chat and Q&A. This app does not do everything for you. It will forward out information, but you do have to follow up with either an email or a text based on the notification that it will tell you to do.
And I'll describe that in detail once we get into sampling.
Okay, great.
I'll make sure we cover that hard.
All right.
let's now cover, we talked about that email and texting is just what I kind of just described. When I'm sharing one-to-one, doesn't have anything to do with sampling. All I'm doing is sharing the video, or I'm sharing a PDF or a link to a website or whatever. Now let's talk about, I'm now posted on Facebook, or I posted on Instagram, and I have people that are requesting information, and I don't have their cell phone number, but I can message them through Facebook Messenger or on WhatsApp or a direct message on Instagram. How do I do that? So I want to quickly show, instead of selecting the video first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to a contact here, and I'm actually going to go through a contact. And in this case, I'm going to select the person that I'm going to send it to. What this will now do is this will provide me a button right here to share a tool with this contact. So when I click share tool, that's now going to take me back to the library. I now know it's going to be this contact. And now I'm just flipping the step. I'm going to select the contact first, and I'm now going to share an asset with them with the intent of sharing it through a messaging app, Facebook Messenger, direct message on Instagram, or WhatsApp. That will now let me go in, and I'm going to select this isotonics video. And now I can do one of two ways. I can now copy the link, and that will register that link to the contact I selected. Or I can come down here to social, and now that's going to bring up, here it is. I'm going to write the little note to what I'm going to send. It's now going to take me to the next step. And there I go. It's going to pull up WhatsApp. It's going to pull up Facebook Messenger. All of these social messaging apps are right here that I can share through. I just select, in this case, I'm going to share it through Messenger. I select the contact I'm going to send it to. And now I am good. I'm good to go. And that's going to now generate that and send it to that contact. So I'm just going to select the name, and then I'll send it. In this case, it's not letting me select my own name. I'll send it to my wife so you guys can see what that experience looks like. That's the link right up there, guys. So I just sent that link to her. That's a trackable link. When she clicks on it, I'll get notified and it'll tell me what amount of the video she watched. So we're just flipping that order, guys. And when we're sending through Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp, select the contact name first, select share tool, and then you're able to, this is the button that you select, share tool, to create a trackable link inside of those messaging apps. So that's kind of an advanced feature.
Question, buddy. Can you, when you put that link up there, you can write a little message with that too, right? You were just dropping the link, but you could, just like anything else, go in, type a little message with it. Yep,
exactly. And we want to encourage that. Again, this is that high-tech, high-touch approach. Personalize that. Hey, Dennis, it's been a long time. You got contacts that you went to school with, in college or whatever. You don't have their contact information, but you do have it on Facebook Messenger, but you want to know that they clicked the link. Create the link in the app and do what I just showed you, and then that way you can track if they watched it.
Right. So, in fact, JJ, that what you brought up there, Jim, making it personalized really got two of the people to get back to me and say, call me. We haven't talked in a while. And basically they turned into customers. And so that's an important part, team. Make sure you're not just sending out the PDF or video, personalize it. You might have to remind
so big.
That. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this technology, JJ, is so great, and Dennis. But we all know if you don't add something,
my wife just clicked on the link I shared, and she just notified me. So I know she clicked the link, and then when she watches the video, I come down here to the feed, the ever important feed. Live down here, guys. Live in the feed every day. It'll really help you. Do we want to now jump into samples? Now that we've talked about some of the basics of sharing content one-to-one and following up, let's transition now into trial pack marketing and how to effectively share samples. And I'm going to begin by highlighting that there's a lot of what I call social media images that are in here. Within each of these categories, you'll find images. If you just select the CL button, if you want to look at the whole Lumiere line, if I click on the CL, there's all the assets are going to show: videos, PDFs, everything that I need. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. But what we're going to do, what we're going to talk about now, is inside of this daily essentials sample category, there's a variety of features in here that we're going to talk about tonight. But the first thing I'm going to talk about is these features here that are what we call social media shareables. And you can see the offer right here. And this is what Jim had referenced earlier, saying, oh, I wish I would have known that this was here because it would have made my life so much easier. We developed these with the intent of you being able to attract people where they come to you requesting information. And that's the power of what samples do, is they attract people that were maybe watching you from afar. They're sitting on the fence. They maybe know that you're involved in the health and wellness industry, but they don't really know much about it. But this is a way to attract people and get them coming to you to want more information. So you see this beautiful image that we developed for you, and we'll look at what it says. I'm giving away 3 free samples. Comment below if you want one. Okay, and that's the call to action. Inside of the sample, there's going to be three isotonic sticks inside of the sample. Hey, we're giving away some samples. And now I'm going to show you with you how you go about actually sharing this. So these are meant for you to be able to share through to Facebook, to Instagram, or to even LinkedIn. Those would be the 3 that I would focus on. Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And I would share it in all 3 channels, all 3 of those verticals, okay? Now, one tip that I also want to share with you, if you like to share through a story, like a Facebook story, an Instagram story, there's this little button. What I did here to get here is if I tap on anywhere up here, what that's going to do is this little button that's up at the top right corner, that's a download feature. What that's going to do is it's going to access the photos on my phone. And I just downloaded this image to my phone, and that's going to make it easier for me to be able to share it to my story if I want to in the future. But what I'm going to share with you tonight is I want to just show you how to select this asset. And this is going to be a call to action to everyone listening tonight. We want to have thousands of people share this image on Facebook, attracting a whole bunch of people to the amazing isotonics products. What we're going to do is we're going to come down here to where it says social, and I'm going to share this on Facebook right now. And I'm going to teach you some ways, some simple ways that you can use this. So what we've done here is the very first step is we want to write a unique message. Okay, that's the first step. And remember, when it comes to social media, the more real, the more raw, the more authentic you are when sharing content, the more effective you're going to be. So this is where you can get real personal. Tell your story about the isotonics product. I use it every morning when I wake up. This is a part of my daily routine. This is what it's done for me. The more personal you are, and then at the end of it, you're going to say, hey, I've given away a few samples. Let me know if you want one. You see how powerful that is? We also have provided to you, in addition to this image, this little script, and I can come down here and tap on this use example script or use example message. And now that's going to populate up here. Isotonics is one of my favorite products. I use it every day. I have a few samples that I'm willing to share. Comment below if you want one. We've done a lot of the work for you. Now, I'm going to go to the next step and select copy. What this is going to do is it's going to force you to modify this by at least 10%. Now, we do this strategically. The reason we do this is we don't want to have thousands of unfranchised owners sharing the exact same image with the exact same caption, because the algorithms of Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn do not like copied information. So you have to, and we force you to personalize it so that you maximize your reach of who you're going after. So when I'm going to go here and I'm just going to personalize this by at least 10%, and I'm just going to add some copy down here. And now we're ready to share it, okay? So you've now personalized it, and I'm gonna go to the next step, and I'm gonna select copy. What that's going to do is that's gonna copy you'll see that it was now copied to my clipboard, and now so I can select the audience of who I'm gonna send it to. Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn are all probably the 3 that I wanna have you start with. In this case, we're going to Facebook. So I tap Facebook. This will now let me go through either my news feed or my story. In this case, I'm going to share it to my feed. Okay, so I'm just going to tap on this button. And what this will now do is it'll now bring in the image. And all I have to do is, because I already wrote my caption in the previous step, all I have to do is select paste. Boom, there it is. It's all ready to go. So I'm offering these 3 free samples. I'm telling people to comment below if they want one. And now the intent is, and I have contacts that have had upwards of 10, 20, 30, even up to 50 people that have come in and said, hey, I want one of those. Can you send me one? So this is, again, a great way to attract people to you. So when I do this, I select post.
What do I do, JJ, if I only want to send 3 though? I don't want to give out 50. What would I do?
So here's the beauty of this. Here's the beauty of this. What we're doing is oh, there it goes. Now it tells me it was successfully shared to Facebook. Here's the beauty of this is allowing you, in this case, what your offer is I'm giving away 3 free samples. So the first 3 people that raise their hand in the comments of your post, you're going to be willing to say, I'm going to spend the $5.95 and send a sample to the first 3. And what's great about that is if you have upwards of 3 people that want to try a sample, is you can go to them and say, hey, you know what? Good news. I've already given away my first 3 samples. but I still can get you a free sample. All you need to do is cover the shipping and handling, and then I can shoot them over the link to my sample website where they can then cover the shipping and handling. So let me show you how to do that. We'll start with that step. So, and as a reminder, when people are commenting, and your feed's going to fill up, people are commenting, I want a sample, I want a sample. Never post this link that I'm about to share with you. This is your sample website link. Never post that link in your comments. You want that feed to fill up with as many people as you can, with people commenting. You don't want to post this link in there because you want to know who was interested. So what you're going to do is I'm going to come right here, and I can copy this link right here by tapping that button. And now I can direct message it to them on Facebook Messenger. Just reply to them. Hey, I'll send you a link. Look in your message. I just sent you a message. And if you want to create a trackable link, remember this isn't trackable. Go to your contacts first and then generate the link to share a trackable link. But in this case, when they click on it, watch what happens. This is a beautifully designed website where they're going to be able to go and learn about this product. And intermittently, they're going to be offered to try a sample with your contact information up top. They can watch a video, and intermittently, they're going to be offered to try a sample. All of this great information, the features, the benefits, there's testimonials on this page. Again, I'm offered to try a sample. So you're now that audience of people from Facebook, and they're wanting information. And you say, hey, I've already given away my first 3 samples, but I'm going to send you a link where you can still get one. Just cover the shipping and handling. When they click on this link to try a sample, it's going to now take them to this simple one-page checkout. They enter their name, their phone number, their address. They enter their credit card details. They pay the $5.95 to cover the shipping and handling. They click order now. Guess what's going to happen? The app's going to notify you, hey, Jim just placed an order for a sample. And all of the headache of actually shipping the sample, all the autoresponders that are going to go out to him, educating him about this, and you're going to be reminded to support Jim as he's getting that sample. But this is a powerful way to allow customers to have some skin in the game, where they're going to say, hey, I'm going to pay the $5.95 to try this sample. And what we've seen is we've actually seen a higher conversion on these types of samples than even the ones that you're saying, hey, I'm going to send it to you for free. But that is a strategic approach and how you're going to use this sample website. This is also a great way. I would use this, a link, in my bio on LinkedIn. You want to learn more about what I'm doing? Hey, here's a sample you could try. You could leave that link in different places, and it serves as a way to capture contacts. They'll actually go in, they'll click on the link, they're going to enter their information. You're going to get notified. Hey, so-and-so just clicked on the link. And so use that and place it in strategic places. Your bio on LinkedIn is a good place. I'm part of this company. Go ahead, Dennis.
Real quick, I just want to remind you, because somebody brought it up. Remember, if you want to be able to track it, then you're going to have to send it directly to the person. Is that correct, JJ?
Yeah. So what you would do if you want to send a trackable link, instead of copying the link and direct messaging it to it, because again, what's going to happen is your feed, that people are going to comment on the post. That's what you want from that experience. I would just go to contacts, select the contact. In this case, if I was sending it to Aaron, I just select share tool, and now I go into this right there, and I select that, and now I copy the link. That link that just got copied is for Aaron, and it'll actually, this right there is now a trackable link because I selected the contact first, select copy link, and then I'm done. So that's an important step, super valuable. Those of you that are going to love this, tracking the, who clicks on content, who do I follow up with, those are hopefully very helpful tips for you. So we just talked about the sample website and how you're going to use that, how to share on social media. We talked about, now there's 3 people that you promised that you're going to send out samples to. So I, as an unfranchised owner, I'm now responsible to go to those first 3 people and say, hey, I'm sending a sample to you. What you're going to do is you're going to come right here to this feature right here. This is the way that you send a sample to somebody, where you're saying, hey, I'm in New York and I'm going to send it to them in California. I just come in right here, I select send. And we talked about the sample experience. Again, what this has is this beautiful design mailer. You can preview the letter, and you can come down here and send the sample. I do want to talk about this, what we call a drip. This is an email sequence that's about to go out to them when you send the sample to a contact. And I want to just quickly point out some important parts of the experience before we actually send the sample. So when I click this drip preview button, this is going to show you a schedule of when these emails are going to be sent out to that contact that you're sending a sample to. This is whether they receive a customer purchase sample or you send the sample to them. It's the same experience. So look at what happens. These are events that take place during the sample process: the day it's ordered, the day it's shipped, and the day it's delivered. Important communication is sent to both the person receiving the sample and to you to do something. Okay. So when I say, if I click right here on the ship day, so when USPS picks up the sample and it actually goes into their system and it's now in USPS's hands, you'll be notified, hey, your sample just shipped to that contact. And then when I tap on this, you can actually preview what's being sent to the recipient and what's being sent to you. This right here is what's being sent to you, and this is what's being sent to the recipient. Let's preview both of them so you guys get an example of what's happening.
Perfect.
I'm going to select what's being sent to the recipient. Hey, so-and-so, just letting you know your sample shipped today. So excited for you to be able to have it. Here's some information about it, and here's a website for more information from me with my contact details. Remember the photo that I wanted you to upload? Make sure you get that photo uploaded, because in the emails that are being sent out with the samples, this is shown when they see it, when they receive the sample. Oh, I know Dennis. I know Jim. I remember, what this is. So that make sure you do that. So this is what's being sent. And remember, these get sent out automatically the day it's ordered, the day it's shipped, the day it's delivered. Then if I go in here, let's look at what you're sent on this day. So I'm going to go right there. And what this is saying is, hey, so-and-so, this would go to me. If it was, hey, JJ, great news. The isotonic sample that's being sent to this contact has shipped. And now it's telling you to take action. Your next follow-up, you should be sending a follow-up text message to this contact. Go into the sample section in the tools, and then you're going to send text message number 2 to this contact. So there's 4 text message follow-ups. The app's going to remind you to take action and actually do that. And I'm going to show you where you go about doing that right now.
I love that part of it, JJ. It's so nice to get that email. And I'm like, oh man, I'm behind on one of my texts. I gotta catch up.
Yes.
And here's the difference, guys. We've actually done some case studies, and we've actually measured conversion rates between unfranchised owners, that are actually willing to send that follow-up text message, and they take that next step of doing that. You're going to increase your conversion upwards of 10% versus those that don't. If you only rely on the emails that are going to be automatically sent, and you're not also staying in touch with them with a text message, your conversion rates won't be as good as if you follow that step. So let's finish the process of actually sending a sample. So remember, I'm on this step here. I want to send the sample to my 3 contacts. I come in here, a couple of tips I want to share with you. We come down here to send. What this is now going to do is it's going to now take me to this step of adding a recipient. So one quick tip, guys, this is really important. There is a filter button right up here. And I bet you, Jim and Dennis, I haven't told this secret to you. But if you're like me, I have a whole bunch of contacts that are in my phone that I only have a phone number for, or I only have an email for, and I don't have their physical address. If you want to have a list of all your contacts that are inside of your phone that actually have a physical address that you can send a sample to, just come up here to the filter button and actually come down here and say, I want to know everyone that has both an email, so I can send automated emails to them, and hey, who has a physical address in my phone. And now I check the box on both of those. I click done. That's now going to sort my contacts, and it's going to show me, and I haven't synced all my contacts, but you'll likely have hundreds of people that you can send samples to. And these are the people I can send samples to. So I'm going to say, I'm going to send a sample to McKinley. That now populated with his information. And what's cool about this, guys, is, hey, my comments on my Facebook post, I have 3 people I need to send samples. I can do it all in one step. I can add another recipient here. I'm going to say, let's send it to Andy. Oh, it looks like I don't have an accurate address there for him. So I'm going to go back, click done. We're going to send it to Amy. So that's now, I've got 2 contacts here that I'm going to send samples to, and you can add as many as you want. You can have 10, 15, 20 people all at once. And then I got to go through the process of reviewing my order. And then I'm going to just enter my credit card details, and I'm going to place the order, and it's going to go out. So it's that simple. 3 taps, I've selected the contacts, and I'm now sending samples. In that case, I, as the franchise owner, sent the samples to them on my dime. I sent it to them, and those automated emails are going to go out to them. I'm going to get reminded to follow up with the day it's shipped. Hey, your order shipped, send follow-up text message number 2. Let me show you how to do that. Right here, we actually separated. People were having a hard time finding these follow-up text messages. So what we did is we made it easy. We created a whole category for this purpose of following up during the sample experience. You got message number 1, message number 2, message number 3, and message number 4. So when you're prompted to send text message number 1 on the day it's shipped, you're going to select this. I'm going to come down here to Amy. I select Amy's name because I just sent her the sample. Boom, watch what happens. It's now going to populate a script. And look what the script says. Hey, be on the lookout for a gift from me in the mail. You could personalize this, right? Hey, thanks for your comment on Facebook. I'm sending the sample right now to you. In the meantime, watch this video. So I send that out to her, and that's the first thing I got reminded to do. And I'm going to send a sample or send a text message just like that. So you're going to be prompted to every contact that you send a sample to send 4 messages. 1, 2, 3, 4. Follow those, and we've made it super simple. They're in order. They're ready for you to go. And then when they click on those links, then when they're ready to buy on the last day, that link is going to be there for them to be able to actually click to place an order right from that right from this link. So guys, we made it really simple. We've talked about the 2 share methods, sharing on Facebook or on Instagram or any channel. Do a Facebook Live. For those of you that feel comfortable doing a live, do a live where you're actually saying, hey, let me show you this product. Make yourself a drink. Actually drink it. Tell them what it tastes like. Tell them what it's done for you. If you do a Facebook Live and then you show them one of those samples, Jim, hold up one of those samples that you have right there. Show them a sample. Hey, I'm giving away a few of these samples. Let me know if you want one. Comment in the Facebook Live if you want me to send you one. Can you imagine how many people you're going to have reach out wanting to try a sample? So a Facebook Live, if you feel comfortable, is another effective way to get people to reach out to you wanting to try a sample. And then you can choose whether you send it or whether you send the link to invite them to pay for it. So those are some ideas on sharing samples. There's 2 other share methods I want to point out. You can buy these in the form of 10 packs from your unfranchise.com website. And they come in a 10-pack, and there's a little guide that sits on top that teaches you how to share the samples. These are meant for you to be able to hand out in your local community. Who cuts your hair? Who changes your oil? Who do you see at the gym, right? Who's your neighbor that you could run over and hand this to? So that's the idea, is that you can hand deliver a sample in person. And then I can go right here into the app, and there's this feature right here called Given in Person. This is where you can now turn on that same sequence of emails, and it'll go out on day 1, day 3, day 5, day 7. And all you have to do is select and add their email right here. And then that's gonna be sent out to that contact. Okay, those same emails are gonna go out to that person. So that's the difference between. This is why this Given in Person tool is right here, so that the app can help you follow up with that in person. They're gonna receive the same information that are sent automatically. The other ones are sent automatically, so don't duplicate this. If you send a sample through the app, don't turn this one on. This is only. That's why we have in bold right here, Given in Person. The app's going to do all the heavy lifting for you. The only time you want to use this is if you give it away in person. There's one last feature I want to call out when it comes to sampling, and then we're going to wrap up. It's this feature right here called Request Mailing Address. So if you get a whole bunch of people on Facebook reaching out saying, I want a sample, but you don't have their address, go to this tool right here, select Copy Link, and this is going to capture their address for you. So I can click that copy link, go in. Hey, Dennis, it's been a long time. I don't have your address. Fill out your address in this form, and it's a way to collect their address. So when they click on this link, it's going to take them to this page where they're actually going to enter their contact information, and you're going to collect their address, and that'll be added as a contact in your app. You still need to send a sample to them. Don't forget. This doesn't mean they ordered a sample. This means you just simply requested their mailing address, okay? Then you go into the process of going back over here, and actually once you've captured that, the app will tell you, hey, Dennis just filled out his address. I now need to go right here and send him the sample, okay? That's a kind of a tool. And I've talked to a lot of
JJ,
people.
could you run that one again? I had a think gap, and sometimes you're moving fast. And
Let's slow down again. So
let's
I'm
do it one more
case.
time. That'd be great.
I'm going to give you a use case. We posted our image on Facebook. I get a whole bunch of people reaching out to me. I don't have their physical address. So I have one of 2 ways. I could message them, hey, send me your address, and they just send it to you. So you capture their address. Or I can use this feature right here that we call request mailing address tool. So I'm just selecting this. I come down, select the copy link, and I message it to them. Hey, Dennis, I don't have your address. I'll send you your sample. Just fill out this form and I'll get the address, or I'll get your address and I'll send it to them. So that when they click on this link, Dennis is going to fill out this form here, his name, all his contact information, his address. This does not mean he ordered the sample. All you did was you captured his address so that you can then go and actually send him a sample through this feature right here. So we call this an address collector tool. And I've talked to lots of people that use this and they find it super effective. And there's other people that are, you know what, I find it just as easy to just message them and say, hey, private message me your address, and I manually add them. So if you want to manually add that contact to your phone, instead of using the address collector tool, all you have to do is go down here to contacts, come up here to the plus sign in the top right corner, and that's how I can add a contact. So if they message me the address, I can just enter their name. I can enter their address right here, add address, and now I can send a sample to them. Okay, so that's kind of two ways.
That is really important for everybody to remember. And just a couple things, you've got to have their details in there to be able to do the whole program. A couple things, just a question. When we give a physical, go ahead, JJ.
I forgot, don't let me forget about tracking a sample. And I'll quickly show that.
Why don't you go ahead and finish the tracking, and I've got my questions written down here.
So there's one last thing. So now I've got my list of 10 people I've sent samples to. I showed my power post of hey, here's a free sample, get a free sample right here. And then I've got 10 samples that I sent out because of this post. Now I want to track the progress of where they're at in the sample experience. You can come down here in the bottom right corner. There's a whole bunch of links that are found in this section of the app. Click business right there. And the very first one at the very top is a place that you can track sample orders, track your current sample orders right there. So I actually have one in the works that I sent over the weekend. It actually shipped today. If I click on open, this is going to pull up a view of my current sample orders. Here it is. It was ordered on this day, and I can actually see all the details. I can scroll over and I can actually track and view the details associated with that sample right there. So in this case, I only have one that's currently outstanding, but you likely will have multiple there that you can kind of track. And if you're wanting to kind of keep track of, hey, is it close? Is it being delivered? That's a way that you can actually track on USPS's website that it's being sent out. Dennis, back to you. I know that you had a quick question about handling.
Yeah, actually, I've got a few. The first thing I want you to do is, can you go back and show where the folks contact the app for questions, like on Androids and things? You showed it earlier. Can you show it one more time?
Right up there in the top left corner. And I think on an Android, it might be on the opposite side. It might be over here. I can't remember, but I'm using an iPhone. But you'll notice it's up along here along the top if you're on an Android device. Just select that image, the icon right there. That's your profile view. And go to the very bottom and select settings. So inside of settings, you'll want to make sure, again, we talked about your notifications to make sure you're receiving alerts from the app, the all important alerts that we talked about tonight. And then down here is your support button. So if you have a question, report a problem, request a feature. What's cool about this, if I report a problem, watch what happens. It'll actually populate an email, and it gives our staff all the information we need. I know what version of the app you're using. I know what type of phone you're using, what software update you are on your phone. So we're now able to better support you when we know. And then right up here, you're going to say, please describe your problem and include screenshots if we need them. Our team will get right back with you. And this is the easiest way for you to reach out and report a problem, or if you need help. And again, as a reminder, just to call out, most of the time you're going to be able to be serviced down here in these little videos, an in-depth sample training, share via messaging apps, how to refresh, the activity feed, sharing samples. Everything I covered tonight is covered in little short snippets that you can watch.
So don't be lazy, team. Watch the videos before you're popping JJ's team a whole bunch of emails and driving them crazy. So make
Jim,
sure you've done your own education, right?
yeah, Jim, I'm going to call somebody out, and it's a big earner, Mary Roth. You're going to have to do the work, girl. Don't call it in. Go dig in it. And by the way, since Jim's in Arizona, you can go see him. He's now an expert. All right, okay, so I'm going to hand a physical
Sample out.
but I have to make sure I get the details and enter them into my contacts, correct? And then be able to.
Yeah, that's a good point. You want to gather their contact information so that you can send them a follow-up email. And even more important, get their email and a cell phone number. I would never give away a sample to somebody who's not willing to give me their email and their contact information so I can follow up. I think that's more than fair to ask. And they'll give it to you if you're willing to give them. And again, remember when we talked about the power of sampling, the psychology of sampling, that Costco case study that was done by Duke University?
Right.
The two reasons that people ended up purchasing when they interviewed people in Costco, why did you buy that product after you sampled it? One, the principle of reciprocity. They wanted to give back. Two, they liked the product. They had a good experience with it. Those are the two reasons. Guys, you have isotonics. We've got some amazing products coming in addition to this sample type that are coming. This is going to be, you guys, we're going to have some amazing tools, but the psychology of sampling. If you do this correctly, if you follow these steps that I just talked about tonight, this is a phenomenal way to acquire customers. If you should be receiving, for every 10 samples that you send out, you should be seeing 3 to 4, even up to 5, orders. That's kind of the conversion metrics that we're seeing. If you follow up through a text message, that 30%, 40% range is likely when it comes to
JJ. I mean, I just want to say this, and Jim, I'm not sure if you had the experience yet, but by the third text, I actually include, when are you available for a quick call? And that call made all the difference in the world. In addition to the great information, it was that high touch, that personal thing that really allowed for the close on that. And please remember that. So in those personal notes, come that text 3, really ask for a time where you can maybe touch base, so you can make sure they know how to mix the sampling and so forth. Can you tell me, if my wife and I are in the business, we both work it, do we need 2 apps, or can we both use the same app?
As long as it's the same business center, if that makes sense. As long as you carry the same ID number, then it should work. So that's a good question.
Okay. Yeah, that came in a couple times tonight.
So each person would download it, JJ, then, right?
Yeah, you can download
the same app on their phone.
And it's just going to all the orders are going to go under the same account. So if you've got 2 business centers, 2 different accounts, then you need to have, it's only $12, guys, for a whole year. So if you're building 2 business centers, your husband and wife, and you want to have volume go into both, you better get 2 separate app accounts. Otherwise, if you're sharing one, then just use one.
Yeah.
So if I have one, then I can say to Lisa, look, I'm checking my app, and you haven't done anything in a couple of days. Come on,
exactly.
Let's get this going.
Exactly.
Because it would update to my app too, right?
Exactly. Another question, real quick. I'm sort of writing these down. Okay, you have my physical address, but I happen to be single, and I don't want a lot of girls to be calling me up and know where I live. So I basically want to put a PO box for my return address. Can I do that?
That is a very good question. And you can do that as long as you go through the process when you're sending the sample. When I go through the process of clicking send, right here, this return address is the address that they will see. So on the back of the mailer, it's going to be from JJ from this 782 South Automall Drive. So if you want to edit that, go ahead and edit it and add your PO box just right here in this step, and that'll work.
Thank you very much. That came in a few
Dennis,
times.
do you mind if I share a quick call to action? I know we've been on about an hour, and I want to end with a call to action, and then let's take more questions for those of you that want to stay on and listen to questions. But I want to kind of end with a call to action that I want you to do 3 things tonight. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is, and I call this a 10-5-1. Write it down, 10-5-1. And this is a call to action that I want you all to follow. The 1 represents what I call that power post. Each of you, I want you to go into the app and share one of these two right here that says, I'm giving away 3 free samples. Share that post. From that, you're going to give the ability to at least send up to 5 samples from the app. I guarantee you're going to generate comments and people wanting to reach out. So the 5 represents, I want you to send out 5 samples through this feature right here that you as an unfranchised business owner are going to send 5 samples out within the next 2 days. The social post, and hey guys, it's late on the East Coast. It's not a very effective time to share this post. Share this post tomorrow morning. You're going to have a lot more people reach it and see it if you share it in the morning than you would at 10 o'clock at night. So that's a tip that I would share. So that's the 10. The 1 is a power post on social media with this image. The 5, I want you to send out 5 samples through either this or your sample website. And then the 10 represent, get a 10 pack of those samples from your unfranchise.com website and have them on hand so that you can hand deliver them in your local community and use the given in person. So that's the 10-5-1 challenge that I want you all to do within the next 24 hours. You should be able to take that type of action. The other thing I want to just call out as a reminder, use this app in addition to the amazing trial pack marketing, features that are here. We spent the first part of this call talking about the basics, the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of building the business, sharing a video with a contact through a text message. Use that 2-a-day 10 in play principle to sharing videos and assets in the app. And you will absolutely love this. Let the tool do the heavy lifting for you. You guys have got to create duplication within your business. Use these tools to do that. Let the video do the storytelling for you. Let the video be the message. You're simply the messenger. Let the video do all the heavy lifting of telling about the opportunity, telling about the products. So those are some tips. We're going to do 10-5-1, and then we're going to remember in the day of the life of an unfranchised business owner, you should be sharing daily with 2 new people every single day and up to 10 people, and use the feed down here. So I just wanted to hit that before people have to drop off. I wanted to kind of end with that call to action, and let's take action and really make the most of this. Now let's spend some more time in just wrapping up on maybe a few of the other questions that maybe have come in, Dennis.
All right, great. It's not available right now in Spanish, primarily because we don't have the Spanish videos and PDFs at this point. We will consider that as our market continues to grow. Canada has asked, when will they get the app? It's on the table for discussion right now. Keep growing. You had a good 2020. Keep that happening, and we'll see good things happening for Canada, our team up in Canada. The only other thing that I want to encourage, and I don't know, we can finish up if you want to just give the screen back to us. We'll finish up. Yeah. Jim, do you have any questions you want to bring up before?
There were people asking, and I'm trying to think if I've got the answer for this. Are there ways they can watch the video on their computer rather than the training videos rather than on their phone? And do we have that available, JJ, to watch from the computer? And if not, maybe we can get that.
Yeah, right now there is a desktop version of this, but we don't have it live. And so maybe that's something we could talk about providing later. But I would suggest the easiest way to do that is to come down here into these videos. So if I wanted to learn about sharing a sample, just come right here and email you yourself the link. And then you could open it up and watch it on your computer that way. That's probably the easiest way. You could just share all these videos to your email inbox, just send it to yourself. And then you could open it up on your desktop and watch it bigger, right?
Okay.
That's awesome. Great point. That is a very good point. Wonderful.
And the replay, guys, some people are asking where the replay from tonight will be. That usually comes out within about 48 hours, and it'll go on our Market America YouTube station. And once it comes out, Dennis and I will blast it out to the same groups we sent it out and get it out so that you'll see it as much as we can. Because I know there was a lot covered and a lot to watch. But I'm going to tell you, it's like the business, guys. You can watch this 10 times. If you don't do anything with it, you're not going to learn. You've got to actually dig in, say, I'm going to send it, just like JJ said, I'm going to do my 10-5-1, and then watch what happens, because as you do it, you'll have more questions that need to be answered, okay? Yep. So that should really help you.
Okay, so we really want to remember that if you do the work, you'll get the conversions. That's important. You heard the challenge. We want to go after it. Also, I just want to talk to you about summarizing what's here on this app. Jim, you want to go through this, please?
Yeah, of course, we've got the prospect activity tracking system we talked about. JJ didn't go into building the hot and cold prospect list, but basically you saw when he was looking at contacts, there's a spot where it says hot or cold, so you can then categorize them. You know, we all have prospects who are hotter or customers who are hotter than we do ones who might be a little bit on the cold side. So you're able to do that as well. There's a personalized sample website, which JJ did a great job showing how that works. The shareable product content, which thank goodness, JJ, you showed that to Dennis, and I had to take my other post off. I was so embarrassed. I'm going to put my new one on now as my power post. The automated follow-up system with the emails, as we talked about, you know, and make sure when you get those that you then send that text. But I loved what Dennis said. By number 3, be ready to follow up with a call. And when you first send that text, let them know there's going to be more coming, so that it's not something like, boy, this guy's bugging me. You know, let them know it's coming. UFOs and customers can order individual samples. We showed that, how to do it. There was a lot of questions tonight, Dennis, about can I send a catalog with this? Not through the app this weekend, but if you have a customer who orders, or you're sending it to a customer, in our unfranchise.com back office and they're ordering, the sample will pull up and the catalog. You can send both. I did that with 2 customers last week. And then, of course, it's free samples, pay only for the shipping and handling.
Okay.
$12 a year. I mean, come on, guys. Some of you blew that today on things that are not going to be beneficial. And somebody was asking about tax write-offs. Well, I mean, I'm not an accountant, but I would say samples and things for your business, you should be taking a good look at as write-offs. And you get the app by going to unfranchise.com, code 5510. Search Unfranchise Marketing. You'll receive a link to download it. And once you install the app, simply use your Unfranchise logins. It's that simple, and it's $12, $1 a month. Dennis and I are actually, we're on a mission. And that mission is to get everybody to get this, because we think this can change everybody's business in terms of the number of customers they can have. And I'm going to tell you, it's a recruiting tool. It's a prospecting tool, because when people see there's something this professional to use, it makes it a much more attractive business for them to look at doing as well.
Excellent, Jim.
Go ahead.
No, that's fine. We want to just finish up and make sure you know how to get the 10-pack. We were talking about getting the 10-pack and doing the physical handouts, and make sure that you put the detailed information. But this is really just the beginning, folks, because get ready. The next sampling is coming out very shortly, and you don't want to miss it. We're excited about this because it's an impact kind of product, and we know there are tens of thousands of people that are just not sleeping as well as they should be, and this is going to be a huge plus. But I want you to know this is just the next one, because there's already more products on the way. There were some questions. Can I do this with Turnup? Can I do this with different products in skincare? Well, the answer is you can. It's just a matter of us using the app and being able to put more and more products out for us. So JJ, any final comments before we head out?
No, I guess I would just say thank you. I mean, I think it's amazing that you guys are all willing to jump on and spend the time, and I hope that this was worth your while. This is a great tool. You know, for me, if you're not using the tools, you will not create duplication in your business. And this is a great way to create that duplication. Get your team using this. Use it. You as a leader, lead with it by example. I look at what Jim and Dennis are doing. Oh my gosh, they're in the trenches. They're sending out samples. They're sending out videos. They're doing it. They're leading by example. And so maybe I would just kind of share that with you. There's not a better way to create retention, to create activity, and to create duplication in your business than using tools. And this is one of the best in your war chest when it comes to tools that you have available to you, for sure.
I would say, Dennis, this is a great time for some of the people who've been on here to maybe do a coring with their teammates, do some training on it. And I think JJ hit a big point. This isn't just you watching. This is now for the leaders who are on here. Get to your teammates. get them on this app, get everybody using it and learning it. And it's just like the business. The more we're all doing it, the quicker we'll get better at it. And I know I've seen Dennis and JJ had to make it really simple because he's been working with Dennis and I. And he said, if I got to help these guys, that should help everybody else, right, JJ? So
Exactly.
make it simple, and we're going to make it so good. But you got to do it, and that's what we want. You get your teammates doing it with you.
And I would say one other quick comment. Like, we covered a lot tonight. Like, right? We covered a lot tonight. So don't feel overwhelmed. I mean, I would start with just some of the basic steps. Send a text message to a contact in the app. That I promise you, anyone can do that. It's just 3 taps and you send a video to somebody. Start with some of the basics. Send a sample to somebody. Little by little, the more you use it, the more comfortable you're going to be. And so, that feature alone of sharing a video with a contact, you do that 10 times, every week, you're going to grow a big business. I don't care what you say, you're going to grow a big business. So work on it in little baby steps, and I promise you'll feel even more comfortable every day. But the consistency is key. Use that 10-5-1. Again, I think I saw a question. What did the 1 represent in the chat? The 1 represented that power post of I'm giving away 3 free samples. Right. The 5 is I'm going to send out 5 samples, and the 10 is I'm going to order a 10-pack from unfranchise.com so I can hand deliver them in my community. So anyway, there you go. There's your call to action.
Right. So listen, 2 great sales individuals. Now I'm just going to tell everybody we're going to do this again in a couple weeks. I'll go through all the chat. I'll find the questions. We'll come back, revisit, tell your teams to come back in a couple weeks. We'll send out the information on when we'll get together, but we're going to keep driving this home until each and every one of you reach your goals. Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure working with you tonight. Good night, everyone.
It was well, Dennis. Thanks, everybody, for being on. Great night.
See ya.